Hey, TwoCowsGaming fans. I'm back. We are going to do something kind of fun and new. I am going to be playing franchise mode. We are going to be rebuilding the Raiders franchise, and I'm going to talk about my strategies that I use when I play franchise mode. So let's jump into that. I'll be back in just a minute. Hey, TwoCowsGaming fans. So here we are in the franchise dashboard. Instead of going with my favorite team, we are going to rebuild the Las Vegas Raiders. I just kind of went through and chose the team that really needs help rebuilding. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start kind of at the beginning, like how I look at the team, how I decide how I'm going to rebuild. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit about why I do it that way. First couple of things I want to talk about right now is in the options, full disclosure, I am playing on Pro, and there's a very distinct reason for that. I play on Pro because I only coach. I don't actually play the plays. I just call them. I use broadcast cameras, and I let the AI simulate what happens. Now, with that, I did change the gameplay sliders slightly. In Madden 25, the defense is terrible. The pass defense is especially awful. So I've adjusted it accordingly for both the computer and the player because I am using coach mode. So pass blocking is a little bit better. Run blocking is a little bit better. And then I used pass defense reaction time. I increased that along with pass coverage and tackling. The numbers are the same for both the AI and the player. So that way it's fair. But I wanted to point that out. The other thing I've done is, since I'm not playing the games, I'm only calling the plays. I went into the XP sliders and I adjusted them because I'm not going to have the ability to have single standout games for anybody because I'm not going to be controlling any of the players. So that's the two big things I want to disclose. A couple things that I also want to point out here. In the franchise settings, we'll go into the league settings real quick. Down here at the bottom, let's see here. Where are the penalties? I don't know if I went into the right menu. No, I did not. So I adjusted the penalties. I turned off roughing the kicker because that is a bug in this game. It's been a bug for about 2 years, so I turned that off. So we're not going to worry about that. The only thing that I do in this game is I do handle the kickoffs and the punts and the extra points, also the field goals, because there's no way for the game to coach that. I don't know why they don't just let the game do the kicks, but whatever. So back here, we're at home. We're going to upgrade the players to begin with just to see. We're going to have to spend some points. The only one I have is Marquand McCall. And we're just going to stick with the scheme fit. That's the purple puzzle piece. That'll help him develop faster to a player that I can use. Now, the first thing I do is I go into my manage roster and I go to the salaries. And I check a couple of things in here. I check the cap space, which currently the Raiders have 35.1 million in cap space. 12.4 of that is in the rookie reserve. So when you draft players, there's about $12.4 million in rookie reserve. And then I just go down the line. I look at my quarterbacks. It is the preseason. I don't mind having 4 quarterbacks, but Gardner Minshew, what an overpayment, especially for a quarterback with an overall 73. So we're going to get rid of him as soon as we possibly can. But right now, if I were to cut him, the penalty is $8.6 million, And this game is very unforgiving when it comes to cap penalties. And currently, in the 2024 season, the Raiders have almost 30 million in cap penalties. So we have to be mindful of that. So we're kind of stuck with Gardner Minshew right now. I'm not happy about it, but there's nothing I can do about it. Running backs. We have 6 running backs. This is ridiculous. So we're going to take a look here. Who can I safely cut? Amir Abdullah, I think, might be, well, 1 million in penalties. Tyreek McAllister. Yeah, you're gone. Now, understand, I'm not trying to simulate this like the real Raiders. I'm doing this the way that I would run the Raiders. So I go into the preseason with 4 running backs. God, I don't know. Abdullah. Yeah, we're going to eat that, I think. We're going to eat that because we're going to end up cutting one of these other younger players anyways, or putting them on the practice squad. So we're going to eat that $1 million. It's not going to be fun, but it's what we have to do just to make space. Now, going into the preseason, you have 75 roster slots available. They have no fullbacks. How many wide receivers we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I am going to trade away Devontae Adams just to get rid of that. Well, I don't like this either. That's going to be a big cap hit. That's going to be ugly. It almost might be worth playing it out and see where we put him. But who can I get rid of? Bachman. You seem like a good candidate. I want to get this team younger, faster. And that means we got to cut some players. Now, there was no cap penalty there. So that gives us 7 wide receivers. Generally going into the regular season, at the end of preseason, I like to have 6 wide receivers. So we're in good shape. Tight ends, 5 tight ends is too many. We got no penalty if we get rid of Gentry. He's a little bit older, so goodbye. Now, I'm sorry, Raider fans, if you don't like this. Maybe he's a fan favorite. I don't know. I'm just purely looking at how to improve the team and get them rebuilt. So we have 2 tackles. We'll leave that alone for now. 3 guards. We'll leave that alone. 1 center. We need to pick up at least 2 centers. I run 15 linemen in the preseason, because some of those rookies that I put on the roster, I'm going to put on my practice squad. And so we got to get at least 1 guard, 2 tackles, and 2 centers. Defensive ends, Max Crosby, I think that's enough said. He's not going anywhere. We are going to shift Janarius Robinson to the other side. Just to balance it out. I go with 6 defensive ends, and then into the season I go with 4. So we're going to switch him to defense. We're going to switch him to the other side. So as you can see, now I've got 3 on each side. Defensive tackles, I'm not sure what the scheme is that the Raiders run. I don't know if it's a 4-3 or a 3-4. So we're going to check that here in a minute. 6 defensive tackles is generally what I start with in the preseason, regardless of whether it's a 3-4 or a 4-3. We're going to need at least 1 outside linebacker, 1 middle linebacker. Oh, no, we got an extra one right here. So we're going to move him to the outside as well. And we may end up getting him. We might get rid of some of these players anyways. But we're just trying to set up our roster to make the right decisions. So we'll move him to the other side. We're just getting an idea, getting a feel for what the cap is at. So we've got, what, 8 cornerbacks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cornerbacks. I don't generally carry that many into the preseason or into the regular season. So we're going to take the slowest one of these guys, whoever that may be, and we're going to move him to safety. But right now we're going to leave it alone. How many kickers do we have? Just one. How many punters do we have? Just one. So we're good. We're good. Now we're going to actually go into the roster. We have 66 players. We need 75. Always load up your roster to the maximum in the preseason because you're going to cycle through so many players just figuring out who you're going to keep and who you're going to get rid of. All right, so let's take a look here. We got 4 quarterbacks. We got 4 halfbacks. We need 2 fullbacks for sure, but I generally go into the when I'm in the preseason, I generally carry 3. We're good with wide receivers. We're good with tight ends. All right. So who's the slowest guy here? Congratulations, Fashion. You are now going to be a strong safety. Why? Because he's slow. You're trying to make your defense as resilient against the deep pass as possible. And that generally means putting slower guys in the safety positions. Now, we're going to eventually upgrade safety to faster players, but right now, this is what we're dealing with. So we need, let's go back through here. 1 middle linebacker. We're good on the rest of the defense, and then we need a guard. No, we need a guard and a tackle and 2 centers. And then, of course, 2 fullbacks. So let's see who's available. We're going to go to the free agents. Now, here I try to go with the youngest available because they're going to have the biggest upside. I also try to build with speed. So Derek Parrish, second-year player, good speed, decent size. We're going to actually sign him as a fullback. We're just going to sign him to a 1-year contract. You can't try and sign him to a long-term contract until it's time to renegotiate. So what else do we have for players here? Nothing really to write home about. So now we're going to move to tight ends because tight ends make great fullbacks, generally speaking. Okay, we want that. There we go. So Michael Ezeki, speed 81, acceleration 83, size 6'5", 241. Whiteheart, guess what? You are going to be a fullback, my man. Now you can't change them in this screen. You got to wait until you get them on your roster, then you can put them wherever you need to. And then I think we are going to sign this guy just as a third fullback, so I have somebody to back up the rest. So that's done. Now we need to go to tackle. We're going to go through here. We're going to get the youngest that we can. I generally try to get rookies here. Rookies make all the difference because they're young. They have the much larger upside. But when in doubt, go with the youngest player you can. So we'll sign him. Remember, we need 2 centers and a guard. No, I'm sorry, 2 centers and a tackle and a guard. What do we have here? Okay, he's not really what I look for. I like bigger guys, taller guys, heavier guys. So we might actually go in here and we might move around some of our tackles to compensate. Did I have any really young prospects here? 25, 6'5", 313. All right, he might be a good option at guard. I wish that it would just leave it Once you set this up, I wish it would just leave it so you could go back and just pick up where you left off. All right, and then we need a middle linebacker. Now, my defensive philosophy is very simple. Speed kills. So on the outside linebackers, I want to have the fastest linebackers, the tallest linebackers I can get. Middle linebackers, I like taller, but I like them fast. Now this guy's got all kinds of speed. Jeremy Banks, he's a first-year player. And I think we might actually go with him. What's this Nowaski guy? Trevor Nowaski. First-year player, 88 and 89. All right, we're going to sign him because why not? Now, let's go take a look at our roster, see where we're at, see who we need to move. We've got room to sign 2 more players, so I need to refresh my memory on where we are signing them. So let's go down to fullback. I got 1 fullback, but remember, I signed those 2 tight ends. We signed Whiteheart, although he might be a better tight end option at that height and that weight. So then, yep, we'll take these last 2, and we're going to make them tight ends. So you just go in here, edit them. Now, a lot of people, they'll go in there and they'll change them to, they'll change their stats and stuff. I don't. I just change their position and their numbers. To me, when you go in and you monkey with their stats, it's just too much like cheating. And I am not a cheater. No, we're not going to give him number 50. We'll give him number 47. Why not? All right, so we've got the tight end situation squared away. We've got the fullback situation squared away. Now let's go deal with our offensive line. Remember, I signed that extra tackle because I need an extra guard and I need 2 centers. So we're going to take this 1 tackle that I have. Where is he? We're going to move him to guard on the other side because I like his height. So that takes care of him. And then we got to take a look at, I thought I signed another one. No, I did not. So we got to sign another player that we could put in at center. So we got some decisions to make there. And then I've got my middle linebacker, right? Yep. Now, what does my outside linebacker situation look like? Ugh, ugly. All kinds of ugly. I don't like that. But there's not a lot we can do about it. But because they're all the same speed, we'll probably move some guys around. Although, well, actually, we could move Eichenberg, sorry, to the other outside position. And then we'll move one of those other guys over to the other side so that way I at least have an okay outside linebacker starting. He's not the greatest. He's a rookie, but shows promise. And then we'll move Snowden to the other side. It's all about finding that balance on your defense. You want to have your best starters out there on the field. And because the Raiders don't have a lot of cap room to play with, we got to be especially careful. I think we're okay. So we just got to get that other lineman, and then we got to decide what we're going to do with that other roster spot. So we'll go back down here to free agents. You know what we're going to do? We're going to see what there is for quarterbacks, because I am not super crazy about Gardner Minshew at all. Oh, good grief. Ryan Tannehill's the only one that's really worth it. All right, so we're not going to waste any time on that. We may have to just, grit our teeth, get through the season, and then start making deals. But we are going to put Davante Adams on the trading block. I don't care if he goes to the Jets. I don't care where he goes, but I want to make this team mine. Yeah, that's probably adequate. So we're going to take this left guard and we're going to put him at center and see how he does. And then that leaves us one spot available. Sorry, I'm still fighting bronchitis. Oh, shoot. Wrong one. I am playing on the Xbox Series X. So if you are interested in that, that's the system I'm using. Jordan Meredith. Okay. Actually, we'll make him center. He's a little bit shorter than the rest of them, so it's not necessarily a bad thing to put him in at center. And you know what? I think we're going to take a look at another. We're going to take a look at another middle linebacker just to flesh out the roster, just to round it out. Because you just don't have. What do we have? Actually, let's take a look at this. Who's the youngest one we got? Who's the fastest one we have? Dylan Cole, 7 years. Jabril Cox, third-year player, but he's got good speed. I like that. Good height, too. We're going to put him in the middle. We're going to sign him and put him in the middle and just see how he does. Because remember, in the way that I run my defense, it is speed kills. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button. Again, I wish it would default back to where you were. So Jabril Cox, you are going to be my next middle linebacker. Now, understand, probably none of these guys are going to really stay on the team, but it's good to have extra bodies. So that is the team. That is the roster. Now, let's go back through, and we're going to put Davante Adams on the trading block. And that should be adequate. There we go. So we've got our roster. Now, let's take a look at the staff that we have. Antonio Pierce is the head coach. We have the West Coast power run, so we're going to want to keep that in mind as we're developing our running backs. Our defensive coordinator runs a 4-3. Also important to remember because you're only going to need to carry 3 middle linebackers going into the season. You're going to need the extra spots on the defensive tackles. That's why I have 6 defensive tackles on the roster right now. And then player personnel doesn't really matter right at the moment. So we are going to go in here now and we are going to set up our starting lineup as best as we possibly can. So we're going to go to the depth chart and just hope for the best. This team is this team desperately needs a makeover. Alexander Madison is not going to last on this roster. He is gone. Zamir White is going to be gone. Lobby is going to be gone. Now, typically what I do is I write down the positions that I want for my team. But we're not going to do that in this episode. And then fullback, we're all good there. Wide receiver, Devontae Adams, that looks good. Tight ends, that's decent. You always got to play with these rosters because Madden, the franchise, always, excuse my French, but they always fuck it up. They always fuck up your team. And it really makes me angry. It's like, why did I set up my roster if all you're going to do is cock up my lineups? So you got to really be mindful. You really got to be hands-on with your roster in the preseason, and it annoys the crap out of me. I understand why they do it, but they should have the option to turn all that crap off. No, I don't want you to, like, auto-sub my stuff in for me. See, like there. Why was that other guy starting? Max Crosby is left end, starting left end. Are we on left end? Yeah. So now we're going to go down here, grab this guy, and then grab the next guy. Now, I left the injury settings at the default, so I don't know how that's going to play out in the regular season. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. This is the guy I wanted. So there we go. Those are my starting defensive ends. Jenkins. Chris Jenkins. Okay. That looks good. That appears to be right. Middle linebacker is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem because they're all young. Let's move this guy and then down here. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Safety, yep. Strong safety, okay. Kicker, punter. Kick returner, I'm not even going to worry about it. I don't know enough about the Raiders right now, so we're not even going to mess with it. I'm going to leave that as is. Kickoff specialist, I always put my kicker in there. Fun fact, Daniel Carlson is Anders Carlson's brother. Anders Carlson was the kicker for Green Bay for a long time, for the last couple of years, and he managed to kick himself off of the team. Now, when it comes to the long snap or the long snapper position, I don't ever put my starting center in the number one spot. Third down back, I generally use my third string running back. I don't put my starter in there. It's just bad form. Power halfback, we'll leave Alexander Mattson in there. Again, right now, I don't know enough about the Raiders running back room to make an informed decision. Slot wide receiver, it shouldn't be Jacoby Myers. It should be somebody else. It should be the third man down the line, which is Michael Gallup. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go Gallup, Tucker, Guyton. So we'll go up here, change it up. Gallup, Tucker, and Guyton. And then for defensive back, we're going to go Richardson, Armstrong, Devonshire. So we'll just slide down here. Richardson. Where is he? Armstrong. And where's Devonshire? Way down at the bottom, right? Yep. Now we'll go back up here. Rushing defensive ends, we're going to leave alone because they do run a 4-3. There is the strategy of putting your fastest linebackers out on the field on the ends in nickel position. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just leave it as is and just see how that works out. Defensive tackles, that looks good. Linebacker, we want to get the starting linebacker in the starting middle linebacker in there, and then I think Cox was my number 2, and Bernie. There we go. All right, so the roster's all set, and we are going to go ahead and jump into our first preseason game and hopefully pull out a win. Now, I do have the accelerated play clock on. You can't see it, but there's like a little message tab down in the lower corner. It's new this year. All it does is really kind of annoy me. So let's see here. We'll just get on here, hit play preseason game. We're going to play the full game and hopefully beat the Vikings. Though I do not feel confident with Gardner Minshew as my starting quarterback.
Welcome to week 1 of the NFL preseason, where the rookies of today hope to become the stars of tomorrow. It's the Raiders and the Vikings, and it comes your way next on Madden Football.
I'm going to skip all the intro. I just want to get right to the game. Oh, we're playing in Minnesota. Great. There is momentum in this game, just to be aware. So I zoom way out so I can see what I'm doing most of the time. Oops, that's going to be a bad kick.
Here we go, week 1 of the
Ugh.
preseason. Command 1 move, out of return.
I will say this, in this year's game, it's kind of nice. They have 3 different broadcast teams to kind of change it up. So I'm happy about that. It's kind of nice.
Championship at the University of Michigan wasn't asked to throw it a ton during that championship run, but very athletic, very impressive. And Greg, he's the guy for the Vikes.
So we'll probably just play the first half, so you get an idea of what I'm trying to do here. So they're having a 3 receiver set. Now, watch this, because the pass defense in this game, the pass coverage is atrocious. There's no other way to describe it. And EA Sports is just like, oh, well, suck it. They have no interest in making it better, which is a shame. So by adjusting the sliders that I did, you get a little bit more realistic statistics. For me, it's all about the statistics. Game over game, play over play. But there it is. See, there's just no coverage there. Doesn't matter. I played cover 2 flat and just got burned. I just got burned. And it's very frustrating. I know that the Raiders' defense isn't fantastic, but they're not horrible either. When you have Max Crosby on your team, you have an automatic puncher's chance of doing something. Now, sometimes I will shift my defensive backs into a better position. I'm going to play pretty vanilla right now. But we're just going to get through the first half. Again, underneath, they just pass underneath the whole game because there's no coverage there. I don't know why there's no coverage there. The blitzes don't get home. This is one thing that has frustrated me all season long with Madden 25. There, finally got a drop. And it's 4th down. So we'll see what we can do on offense with Gardner Minshew. My guess is we're not going to be able to do much. My offensive line is patchwork. My only good wide receiver is Devontae Adams. And I don't have a good quarterback. Ugh, God, this is going to be
They'll be led
painful.
out by their quarterback, drafted back in 2019 out of Washington State. It's Gardner Minshew.
Starting all the way back in the spring of
Now, I always
2022,
call from the
preparation
formation.
building up for this very game. And for a lot of the guys on the sideline
We'll
that have
see
been
what
around
happens
for a
here.
long time, these preseason games might not feel all that important. But I promise you, when you got a
Again,
guy who's put in the
broadcast
NFL
cameras.
for
I don't
every
actually
different
run the
player in
plays.
football, these games go a long
If I were
way
to run the
in building
plays
this
and play the
confidence.
games, I
You're
would
trying to
probably
get a
routinely
player who's
score
never played in the
over
NFL
100 points, and that to me is
They'll
not
run on
fun.
second down and
For
8.
me, it's a lot more fun
They
to
put Adams in motion.
just coach. Now, I have to do that manually because the game won't do it for me.
They'll fake the give, and now it's Minshew.
Right over the middle.
That'll be taken in.
Matson for the
It's
first
Alexander
down.
Madison. And
Nice.
it's
Oh, and there's a penalty, of course. Illegal man downfield. Now, that's another one of those bugs that absolutely drives me bonkers. I can't turn it off. I can't adjust the slider. It's a bullshit penalty, and it always happens on plays over the middle like that.
And it draws the flag.
It's absolute garbage. There's no other way to say it. It's garbage.
Minshew out of the pistol here. This one is complete along the sideline. Very nice job to fit that ball in. It'll be a modest game.
One thing I do like to do is I like to sub in my other backup or my second string running back. I'm going to just give up here. I'm going to have to punt because I just don't have any confidence in Gardner Minshew whatsoever. And since the Packers signed Josh Jacobs, I don't know where their offense is at.
Into a gain of 6. On fourth down, last year's All-Pro punter A.J. Cole.
There we go.
For the Raiders.
Kick coverage is usually pretty good in this game.
A few yards on the return.
Sometimes I feel like it's almost too good.
The Vikings offense.
Oh, lovely.
Their second possession. They'll search
So my backup running back is hurt.
as they begin the drive on 1st and 10.
We're going to send the middle linebacker on a blitz up the middle. Hopefully he can squeak in there and knock Sam Darnold on his butt. Or no, McCarthy, sorry. Again, no coverage whatsoever. By the end of this game, I predict the Vikings are going to have over 400 yards passing.
Quarterback, he looks outside and sees man coverage, and he knows exactly where he's going to go with the ball. Now it's up to the receiver to create separation at the top of the route. Ball's on time, great placement.
Okay, so I'm going to call Tampa 2, nickel 2-4. So the flats are covered and the middle is covered. Now you watch. I'll be surprised if they're able to cover this because the defensive backs and the linebackers drop into deep coverage and they shouldn't. They should stay home. Yeah, there it is. Terrible reaction time by the defense. Absolutely god awful. Even though I've increased it so that it should be better. Max Crosby just stood still like a statue. I don't mind the improved running game, but I do get annoyed when I see players just standing still and doing nothing. Now, if I do any kind of manipulation on the defensive line, it'll go for a touchdown. It's another one of those things that just kept me scratching my head. When I heard that Josh Lumen was brought back, I was like, oh, good. Maybe the game will be good this year. But no, not really. This game has actually gotten worse with him at the helm, which is very disappointing. Threw it incomplete. Nice. And I'm really not trying to be cruel. I am a Madden fan. I really like the games, but this year's game is just a fresh coat of paint. They said that they had all these new features, and they don't. So it's like, all right, well, if you're basically glossing over the new features and just saying, oh well, we did this, then you better be nailing the gameplay, and they are not. The gameplay is atrocious.
is Dylan Lobby. He'll get this up to the 28-yard line. Nice place for the drive to start.
And I'm just being objective here. I've been a Madden player my whole life, and you know, I'm being generous saying this is a terrible version of Madden. So, like right there, why did he just do that? He had no reason to cut back, especially when there was no cutback lane. So watch this. Watch. We're going to go back here. We're going to do this replay from his perspective. No cutback lane. No cutback lane whatsoever. Why is he cutting back? He's supposed to go between the guard and tackle, right there. And if he had just gone forward, he would have gained a yard or two. But instead, he just runs flat into the back of his offensive lineman. Just no rhyme or reason. No rhyme or reason to why he did that. I shouldn't have to constantly tweak the sliders in this game to make it playable. Now, part of it is Madison. I'm lukewarm as on him as a running back. I don't have anything ill to say to him about him in real life. I mean, he's a pro football player, for Christ's sake. But in this game, you know, the players don't perform the way that they're necessarily supposed to. It's like the ratings don't actually matter. Oh, nice catch by my tight end there. Take advantage of that poor coverage there. Watch the defense on this. We'll do the instant replay here now. We're going to watch the tight end right here. Now watch the over pursuit by the defense. They've got him. Thrown behind him. Over pursuit.
These third down conversions are just so important. Like everybody stresses, we want to possess the ball, give our offense as much opportunity to end as many drives as we can.
So we'll continue seeing what we can do here. There we go. Nice little run up the middle. And that is the way it's supposed to be. Well, let's try this. Let's try the shotgun formation. I haven't done that yet. I don't know what the Raiders offense looks like when I do this, so we're going to have a little bit of fun here. There he goes, over the middle. Nice catch. I'll take it. First down is better than turnover. I see they don't have any freaking deep routes. There's no deep routes on their shotguns. Let's try this one. Okay, there's 4 verticals with a go. Let's see what happens here with this one. Right down the middle. Now we'll go down here to goal line and see if we can just run it in. End of the first quarter. So now I got to unfuck my roster, my lineup again. So we'll go in here. Now we'll go to coaching and see how bad my roster's screwed up here. Oh, look, it's a mess. It's just so dumb. Now I leave my starting linemen and my starting fullbacks in. Anywhere where I've only got 3 players, I leave them in an extra quarter. Yeah, let's pull all of the freaking wide receivers. That made perfect sense, game. You're supposed to be scouting talent in the preseason, and your talent should really be out on the field. But do they do that? No. So then you got to go through here, waste 5 minutes redoing your roster. The whole, you know, it's like why did I go through the effort of setting up my depth chart? You're just going to screw it up anyway. And you can't turn that off. That really bothers me, is you can't just turn that off. So here again, now I had you saw me set up my offensive line. So why in God's name did they all of a sudden just sub in this right tackle? I don't want him there. It should have gone right down the line if it was going to do anything. But I wish you could just turn it all off and just do it manually. Because then I wouldn't have to monkey around doing this for the whole night. I mean, visually, the game looks fantastic. It really does. But gameplay-wise, this has got to be up there, probably top 5 worst Madden games ever put out. And I say that having played and survived Madden 2006 and that abysmal launch on the Xbox 360. So let's see here. I got to move my right tackle. I would say number 1 worst game in the Madden series has to be Madden 10, because the injured reserve bug. If you had more players on injured reserve than, I think it was 5, you couldn't fill your roster. You couldn't fill your roster. If you lost your kicker and you didn't realize it, you couldn't advance the season and you couldn't sign him, because like putting the player on the injured reserve is supposed to free up that roster slot, but it didn't. In 10, it didn't. Same with like 9. I believe 9 was like that too. It would not free up the roster slot. They didn't even fix it until Madden 12. Now, fortunately, they've kind of fixed it, but even then, like in this game, like you don't have the option of putting your guys on limited injury reserve. You can't bring them back. If they're healed up, you can't bring them back in the season, and that's not the way it works at all. You should be able to designate them as temporary injured reserve or whatever it is in the NFL, like the NFL does. So we're going to actually bring Jones back in, just because we don't want to give up too many points. Free safety and safety, we're going to leave alone. We're going to bring him back to the starting lineups. It's just a frustrating mess. And the thing is now I got to go back in to all of my specialty positions and do the exact same thing, which is just ridiculous. So look, I had 3 long snappers set up, and it took all of them out of the lineup. This is something you guys need to fix, EA. This is unacceptable. What is the point in having your preseason roster depth chart set up if you guys are just going to cock it up? It's like you're just like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. We're going to do this for you. And I really wish you would stop doing that. Just stop. It's my team. Let me run it the way I want to run it. I don't even know if the slot wide receivers are right. I don't know if the slot cornerback is right. We're just going to roll with it. Okay. Let's see. Do I have any kind of crossing? No. This will have to do. One thing I always recommend people learn are their hot routes, because hot routes are going to save you. Let's see if we can get a touchdown here.
It's O'Connell.
Yep.
And he's in. Trey Tucker. Touchdown Raiders.
There it is.
But you think back to their
Now,
first possession of
as
this
far
game
as
was
team
against
celebrations, they got to bring back the
fast start.
the correct team celebrations, like Lambeau Field, the Lambeau Leap, you know, the Mile High Salute, the Dirty Bird, the various different celebrations that are in the game. 3 years ago they got rid of them, and it was the best part of the game. They also got rid of the what is it, Amazon statistics or whatever it's called. You know, where they show you all of the vital stats. You know, I really like that in, what was it, Madden 21, I think, where they actually showed you like the stats of the different passes and how far through the air it flew and all that good stuff. They got rid of it. It was like one of the best features of the game. They got rid of the like momentum meter. I don't know why down on the bottom they have the scoreboard. That's so dumb. I know it's supposed to be like TV, but it just doesn't look right to me. I'm used to having it up on the top in Madden. You have no way of knowing whether you have momentum at this point, where in last year's game and the year before, they had the momentum meter, which I really liked. It's like I would be fine with them taking some of that out of the game if they made the game better, but they haven't made the game better.
In this case, they leave a little too much room on the ground, and the offense is able to pick up a first down.
And he'll plow forward for a gain of 4 yards.
Now I don't play much. I don't play Madden Ultimate Team. It's never been really a draw for me. I've always been a franchise player ever since 1999, Madden 1999. To me, that's the kind of the best way to play the game, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm calling the cover 3. So there you go. Now we'll see. There he goes. Oh, yes, I got a pick. Sweet. Wow, the coverage actually worked that time. Nice. It's almost like I knew what I was doing. Again, we're just going to play to halftime, and then I'm going to let you guys go. But I just wanted to kind of show you how I'm going to build my franchise. When we come back next week, we'll address any injuries that have happened, and we will start putting together our scouting team. Let's see how they do with this. Now, it's usually about this time in the game when suddenly the computer-controlled team just gets blitz happy and ends up just wreaking havoc on your team. There's no explanation. It's like guys just stop blocking all of a sudden. See, there it is. It's just like, yeah, I'm just going to stop right now. I'm not going to block anymore. Watch this. Let's go look. Let's look at the replay. Watch my guard right here, number 65. If I can get him targeted. God damn it. It's like we don't want to show you how bad your guy is. But watch this. I'm just going to like not do anything. See? He's just programmed. He's programmed. Look at that. He goes, I'm going to go out here, look to where there's nobody. He's looking at a space where there's nobody, as though there's supposed to be somebody there. And then he just lets him go. It's ridiculous. And also explain to me how there's wind inside of a dome. Swirling winds inside of a dome. That's always a good one. These are questions that I have as I play this game. Now I'm calling a blitz. I'm blitzing both my middle linebackers. There we go. Nice. Is that my defensive tackle? No, it was my outside linebacker. Nice. Well, defensive end. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, now I'm going to go cover 2 again. Or Tampa 2. Can they get this coverage? Underneath, I'm fine with that. That's the way it's supposed to be. Keep the play in front of you. It's 3rd and 14. Now, let's go down here. We're going to go cover 4. Again, we're going to keep the play in front of us if we can. See? There it is. Zone. And because I was holding the trigger, my guy didn't move at all. And another pick. Another pick. I like that. I like that. Yeah, it does. So you got Mike Tirico and Greg Olson, which I kind of like. It's definitely better than who they had before, but Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis are back as well. And then they have 2 other players, or 2 other announcers. I can't remember their name. One is Stacy something, and I can't remember who her broadcast partner is. And of the 3 broadcast teams in this game, they're kind of the weakest. But I try not to hold it against them because it's their first year doing the game. I do wish that they had more of a rollout pass, but there it is. Nice. So we're putting together a little bit of an offense. We're going to try a sweep. So we're going to go way outside. Let's see what happens. Slides outside, blocks down. There it is. There it is. Nice. I'll take it. I'll take it every time. I'll take that play every time. Now, does that one go? Okay. Try a little play action here. Oh, I can't send him in motion. Well, that stinks. It's all right. He's running a deep post and batted down. All right, we'll try benches. I'm not really happy with this play, but sometimes it works. Short. Goes to Tucker. Kind of a give-up play. Got 6, but nothing to shake the foundations of the earth with. So what do we got here? We got Meyer. We're going to actually send him like there. Send him to a post. Let's see what happens. Nice. There we go. Nice little slant there. O'Connell's doing pretty well in the second quarter. Just had the 2-minute warning. Touchdown. Again, I'm not. I'm just calling the plays and sending people in motion. But we'll gladly take the touchdown. third and fourth quarter is where we're going to struggle. Because then we'll have our third and fourth guys, fourth string guys in the game, and that's going to get real ugly. Hey, there we go. I like that. 2 of 4 for 12 yards. So we're kind of stacking up in the middle here. We want to avoid giving up the middle. Sam Darnold completes a pass to the tight end. Change it up. Gonna go to zone. Dang it. Gave up the first down. Not great. He's gonna get a hot hand going into the half. That's the way it is. It's the Madden AI. I swear sometimes it's just like, yeah, we're gonna succeed at these plays whether you want us to or not. Like that one. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. All of a sudden my defense breaks down with 1 minute left. It's absolutely ridiculous. And see, now if I try to do any passing plays, my offensive line is going to suddenly forget how to block. It's scripted that way. Whatever their programming script is, it's the way it is. But, oh, look at this. He could go. He could go. Nope. Oh, wait. Oh, so close. I may not have to pass. I may not have to pass on this one. Nothing wrong with that. Can Zay White get in? Nope. Now here's where I wish I had a rollout play. Play action power O. It's like there's no rollout play. We'll try this one. See? He's just going to stand there. Like, finally, he throws it. We'll take it. We'll take it.
You hear coaches, you hear commentators, everybody talks about that middle four, Mike, that final 2 minutes of the second quarter and the first 2 minutes of the third.
Now we're going to try a little, like, knuckleball squib. Maybe. Let's see here. I guess it's not going to let me. Oh, there it is. Power squib. There we go. Because we don't want him to get any chance to throw a deep ball. We want to close this one out. But there's that. Just gave up a touchdown. My mistake. That was my mistake, and I admit it. Now, going into the halftime, I want to show you how this is going to work. It's going to be embarrassing. This is the exact same halftime show that they've had for the last 5 years. Exactly the same. Same commentary, same highlights. Nothing special. And this is embarrassing. When you go back, and I'm not a fanboy of ESPN 2K5. I'm not. But when you go back and you look at that game, the halftime show and the post-game show are so superior to every version of Madden. It's embarrassing. And I don't know why they don't care about that. But anyways, so that's going to be the end of this episode. Next episode, we are going to go into week 2. We're going to talk about some strategies for scouting, although I don't think scouting becomes available until week 1. But we're going to develop our characters. I'm not going to spend any character development points. We're going to talk about how to earn points for your staff, for staff development, and then we'll play another half of football in the week 2 game. Again, this is the preseason, so nothing really matters. But I want you to kind of see how I rebuild the Raiders and see if we can make it to the playoffs. I think that would be awesome. But this is going to be an ongoing process. This is going to be an ongoing kind of series. And I hope you tune in and I hope you enjoy it. So with that, everybody, just be safe, be kind, and no matter who you are, no matter where you are, remember that you do matter and that you are loved. That's all I got for you tonight. Take it easy, everybody, and we'll see you next time.